Tetesa manita wali. Inota tongu wenchi di kubuni. Di kututa futuluma wafu di genyose. Afaga bevai maheru. Dokunu materu naba. Naba naba maheru naba. Naba 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 maheru naba. Prophet nebnaba la Musa moro din big. Big dog on the truth teller. The chosen one, the Messiah. Naba, la Musa, more than a big. That there's a manita wali. You know that tongu, when she did coupon, they go to that futuluma one for the game. I forget me fight. Maheru, Dokunu materu naba. Naba, naba, maheru naba. Naba, 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 maheru naba. Prophet nebnaba la Musa moro din big. Big dog on the truth teller. The chosen one, the Messiah. Naba,
Ujai, Ujai, and welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show. And we're broadcasting on Bless FM. Um, my name is Nahibsa Nesibik, and I'm hosting the show tonight alongside.
Kasati Hakama. Hushai, everyone.
Yeah, Doal. Yeah. So tonight's show, I'm just gonna first of all acknowledge and validate the divine world. I also want to acknowledge and honor and validate the world of the dead, and also acknowledge, honor, and validate Nebnaba Lamusa Morandenibig, um, the founder of the Health Center. And we would just like to give our appreciation to him, really, for giving us this opportunity to be sitting here with this information that we're trying to share with you tonight. Now, Nebnaba Lamusa Morandenibig, he was a high priest, a Dogon high priest, and he was from the village in Burkina Faso, and he belongs to a lineage of healers that's tracing their history back to the Nile Valley civilization. In 1995, Nebnaba made the journey to the west to basically bring the knowledge to us here in the west, and he was given permission from the Gulmu royalties and all the traditional temples and the grand divinities of Kemet. His mission was to bring the knowledge of the existing Kemet temple to the general public for the benefit of humanity, due to the state of affair that we're in now. Nebnaba opened the first Earth Center school in 1998. You know, he first went to America in 1995, but the first school was actually opened in 1998, which was in Illinois, Chicago. Yeah, where he began to take the people through the initiation process, and consequently, the Earth Center began to grow as the demand for authentic knowledge increased. Now, after its transition in 2008, Naba Irita, his son, um, picked up the baton and carried on the journey. And in doing so, he's expanded the Earth Center globally. Presently, we have 6 schools in the USA. I believe we have 2 schools in Canada. We have 2 schools here in the United Kingdom. One in Birmingham, no, sorry, one in Coventry, and one here in London. Now, the Earth Center basically consists of 4 different branches. The first branch is the M-Tam School of Kemetic Philosophy and Spirituality, where we teach 3 different topics. The first topic is the Medu Mahit. People know that as the hieroglyphs. And in that, it helps the hieroglyphs, or the Medu Mahit, is humanity's first language. This is a language given to us from the gods, or the Neters, as we refer to the gods as, really. And with the Medu, what it actually does, it helps to expand the brain, allowing us really to use more of its capacity, as opposed to when we use the English dialect, it limits us to just using like 10%. So that's the first school, the MTAM, um, the the Medu Mait. The second class is the Katibi, which there we do meditation and yoga. In Katibi, we would learn the prayers, all the which are all done in the Medu language. And these prayers are very old prayers. They're like 75,000 years old. And we use these prayers when we're doing our daily zemzems and our divine holy days and ancestral holy days, etc. And so that's the Katibi. In the Sun class, this is where we learn about healing, and this is we learn how the body functions from a traditional perspective. Hence, they use a lot of natural herbs as opposed to synthetic drugs, which we're given here in the West, really. So that's kind of the difference between the Kemetic and the modern. Yeah. The next branch of the Earth Center is the Firefly Production, which is the publishing center of the Earth Center. From here, all the literature, like the Philosophy Podium, the Initiatic Tale, the Sidereal Calendar, the 77 Commandments, the Fireflies magazines, the Sunnyside magazines, all these publications are done through this section here. And often we read articles and things like from these more or less every week, which are sometimes, or some of them are written by Neb Naba himself, and some of them are written by the initiates. The next section is the Ancastor. Now, this is where we do like natural herbs, natural healings. We do earth energy readings, which this is carried out by priests, and basically they do earth energy readings where like they can basically tell you what's wrong with you from a day-to-day basis, in the past and in the present. Really, that's how far they can go. because time in the Kemetic philosophy doesn't really exist. It's just in our perspective that we recognize time. The next part of the Earth Center is the project in Merita. And here they basically trying to, well, they're digging wells, freshwater wells to provide fresh water. They're also kind of doing traditional farming, um, using techniques from ancient time that our ancestors used to use. So they're trying to refurbish, temples that have got become derelict. And so this project here really is basically trying to rekindle what was there before and put it back in the forefront really, and helping us to go back to our traditional ways of hence how we used to do things before. So that's the four sections really of the Earth Center. We will want to give you the number to contact the Earth Center on if anyone would like to make contact with the Earth Center. Their number is 0207 175 4144. The email address is inquiries at uk@the-earthcenter.org. So inquiries uk@the-earthcenter.org, and center is spelled T-E-R, C-E-N-T-E-R. You can also contact the Earth Center on Facebook, which is the Earth Center UK. Also on the Twitter is Kebtah, Kebtah UK. That's the Twitter. Also, I think you can get it on the Instagram at theearthcenter.org. And so that's the contact information really like. So if anyone would like to contact the Earth Center, then that's the number that you can access also. Okay. Yeah. That number also can give you sorry.
If you want to contact the Earth Center in the United States, you can contact via Facebook the Earth Center of Manu. That's MAANU. There's also the Earth Center of Canada for those in Canada, and the Umtam School of Ouagadougou for those on the continent of Merita, i.e. Africa.
Well, yeah. And just a short mention though really, like the contact number for the Earth Center, this is for Leytonstone. Our classes really are on Sundays, and if anyone is interested really and would like to know more about what the Earth Center is providing, the information, you can use that contact number, and basically you can come in and sit in on some of the classes at least once. Yeah, and then that would give you like an idea of what is being taught really within the Earth Center. So obviously you would have to make contact first by the number we gave out before. We'd just like to play a short interlude of music and we go on to the next section.
African children are down there in a hungry situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? African children down there in a hungry situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? Whole of the nation are living in peace and children are down there. Yes, in a hungry situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? African children are down there. Yes, in a hungry situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? Whole of the nation are living in peace and remain, crying and applying to their council for assistance. Their tribulation, it is so sad. Their environment, it is so bad. High-rise concrete, no backyard for the children to play. African children are down there in a conflict situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? African children down there in a conflict situation. African children, sometimes I wonder do they know where you're coming from? All of the nation, what they think in this tenement. They're precast on more concrete. They're increasing each and every other day. Structural repairs, their assistant did not done. Lift out of action on the 27th floor. And when it worked, it smelled African children. African children, only boy, are living in a concrete situation. Only boy, African children are down there, yes, in a concrete situation. African children, I wonder do they know where you're coming from? African children are down there, yes, in a concrete situation. African children are sometimes wonder do they know where you're coming from? They.
Ushayi, welcome back, welcome back. Can I just say we neglected to give you the Coventry School details, which are the telephone number 0247 0247 626 6859. And that's a Coventry School in 18 Biggin Hall Crescent. And for those who wish to interact with the studio today, you can telephone the studio number on 07 944 431 1366. I'm going to read a section of an article from the Philosophy Podium via the Firefly magazine, volume number 65, Society and Individual Destruction, Part 2, by Nebnaba Musa Moradenibig. After a serious analysis of the behavior of certain individuals, one is tempted to ask the question, are they really part of this earth and universe? One can say they are simply humans that have failed the test of the dialogue of earth energies. And like all failures, they hide in an illusion of glory not based on reality. Ashamed for having been rejected by a nature that they couldn't understand, they rush to construct or simply imagine an illusory reality to replace the energetic reality that actually surrounds them. This new world they have created has no other goal than to keep their illusion alive for their entertainment until their final destruction. I'm going to read another extract. This is from the Our Sunnyside magazine, which is sunnyside.org. Every traditional society preserves itself and its achievements by regenerating its long understood principles through its youth. Unlike the old traditions, new societies that are claiming to be modern, having no values or principles, have soon violated and forgotten these basic principles of human life while sacrificing the fate of their modern youth, the same youth that are supposed to be the future of the society.
Wow. And that brings us on really like to what we really wanted to talk about roughly was just about destruction of our youths out there. And as it said in the article there, every traditional societies know that the youths are the future. Yet we see that in modern society, the destruction of our youth. We see how they are thrown into the society without even being advised or trained or taught the life survival skills of how to maneuver themselves through the system. They face the entrapment, right, that's set as put out there in place for them for self-destruction, and Set being the one that controls the earth, and his aim is to destroy life by any means necessary. So the youth find themselves without culture, without knowledge, the respect for nature, and the respect for self. And consequently, they are imploding on themselves and against each other and committing senseless acts to the point where they are going away from nature and their true purpose on earth. And we can see by consumerism and all the different kind of entrapment that society has set for our youth, some out there, drugs, the various kind of pleasures that is kind of say what they think is fun, but it's actually leading them to their self-destruction. And I'd just like to just read a quote, and this is from an elder, a Kemetic elder. He says, "A man without a mastery of natural principles and customary of traditional values is nothing but an animal ready to be chained and dragged around." And so this is where we are at now, really, right? Where our youth, they're lacking in knowing who they are, they're lacking in not knowing their culture, and consequently, they don't have the value for themselves in respecting and having the principles that more Kemetic and traditional society would have imposed on them from an early age. We know that people are essentially born good, but society is the one that actually makes them bad. And then we see that they are rewarded for their bad behavior. So there's nothing there really to kind of to steer them in a direction, right, that is meaningful. And their goals, their of what they're, well, it's in a lot of cases they don't seem to have a goal really, because they don't really know why they're here. And so we see that the code of discipline and values that the system put forward is corruption. Now you have this Greek god, they call him Liber, and his name is spelled Liber, and he was a god associated with drunkenness and pleasure. And this is where we get the word liberty from this person there, this deity, or not deity, a god, a Greek god, Liber. So we are taught that to be disciplined, we must have a goal. This is what we're taught in our initiation, and therefore, by having that goal, you've set yourself a direction in life, which it makes it a little bit more harder, right, for someone to come and distract you, because at least you've got like something to aim for. And because the human brain can't invent, yeah, and we can only imitate what we see, it's easy for the system, yeah, to um to lead us where they want to lead us, yeah. So to be disciplined, we know that, as I said, we have to have a goal. Now, because we can't invent anything, it's only natural, or it stands to reason, right, that whatever we learn um, is going to be taken from somewhere or someone. Hence, why we in a Kemetic, again, initiation tradition, they would say, we if every discipline, to be disciplined, you need to have a master. And so if we don't have a master who's going to be guiding us in the right direction, this is where the state society basically has placed themselves to be our masters. Hence why the direction that we're following is what's given to us from them. So in the tradition, they recognize that every soul needs to be initiated, because everyone needs to know who they are, where they're coming from, and where they are going, and for what reason, and what they're looking for. Because if you're going somewhere, then there must be some kind of intention of trying to get there for a reason or a purpose. Yeah, and so um, we're given that through our initiation. And initiation, as we would say, is to be initiated, is to be initiated into the house of life. So when we go through initiation, that's what it is. We're being initiated back into life. So you're born, but that initiation process, really, right, is connecting you back to the very earth that you came from in the first place. So the initiatic system was put together by our ancestors for the benefit of our youths. And from the age of between, say, 7 and 13, both for boys and girls, they're put through initiation, and they are faced with their challenges. That it's a struggle, but at the end of the day, once they can overcome that, it is actually building them to be something that society is giving them that direction of they are the future. And so, being that they're going to be responsible for the future, is only natural to say, really, right, that they should know what their purpose and what to do. So, in going through initiation, this actually kind of gives them that tool in knowing that, they didn't just come here by chance. So they have a purpose to serve a destiny. And so initiation actually gets them ready from that age. I mean, I'm in my come to my 60th now, really, and I'm going through roughly the same initiation that these 6 to 13-year-olds would be going through from that age. So when I look at it and I think, well, wow, um, if it's giving me the values that I have now, then you can imagine at that age, they're set. They're set to kind of achieve a lot of things out there. And even later on in the program, my sister Kasati, she's going to read out some things to you just to show you the progress of our youths out there, because we get a lot of negative coverage from the media in terms of what our youths them are doing, but they seem to be failing, really, right, to kind of recognize them and give them that credit of their achievement as well. And we know that going through initiation, it kind of helps to give them that direction so they're able to reach their full potential. And so it helps them to raise themselves spiritually, and they realize, they would realize that they are the future, and that they have a responsibility to within their community to fit in, really, right, and to to help themselves, to help their elders, and to help to bring the community forward. Really, you know. So Kemetic education, it discouraged the human tendency to attach themselves to pleasure and to vices, and this is what our system out there offers our youth out there. We say in initiation that things of pleasure and that kind of vices, or like the love of money, all these kind of thing. It's what would they would say?
Downhill.
It's a
It's a
downhill,
downhill path,
and it leads to
destruction,
and
self-destruction.
yeah, and that's what they're offering our youths out there: pleasure and all these different vices. Really, right? That's actually leading them into that destructive mode of destruction and self-destruction. So, corruption is what the system has placed in front. Yeah, and it's got all the entrapment, really. Some of which looks good, and they it's like what they've defined, what they would say is success usually is your demise. Yeah, because if from a young age you don't have the value, or the knowledge of how to maneuver yourself through society, then when you do achieve abundance of money, you can see out there for yourself. A lot of them, they get the money, they have the means now to self-destroy themselves. But in getting there, they also destroy a lot of people trying to get there. And our youth, we recognize that initiation is a way of trying to kind of say set our youths in good stead, really, right, to face the world that they're coming into. Now, there are other little programs out there. We can see that within the community out there, really, right? There are other little fractions of little small groups of organizations, really, that's trying to help our youth, to give them like a sense of direction. Here, they would call it rites of passage, as opposed to Kemetic. We would say it's
Initiation.
initiation.
Hmm.
So is it prudent really to say mention the one and two organizations out there that's actually trying to it's because what they're offering really is like, it's not initiation, but it is like a stepping stone leading up to initiation. Because sorry, go on.
Yeah, they're rites of passage programs that actually empower the youths from a spiritual level, cultural level, intellectual level, putting them on good footing to be progressive and active members of their society, which can be a stepping stone into going through to Kemetic initiation.
Yeah, because I'm not sure of the age here really, like that they can come to class by themselves. But we understand that if you've got a child, if you're going through initiation yourself, and any child, I don't know from the age that they start, but it's up to the age of 14.
Children, once a parent is in initiation, the children are welcome to attend and go through initiation free of charge up until the age of 14.
Yeah, and after that, really, so if they were to go through like the rites of passage, that takes them up to the age of about 16, 17, isn't it?
Yes, the program in South London, which is the Origin program, they go up to 16, and the Manhood program in North London, I think they actually go up to 20 or maybe 18.
Yeah, so what we're saying basically is that if that is a good sort of like foundation, really, right? Giving them an awareness of coming into initiation, which is something then after 16, then obviously they can come and explore that for themselves, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So um, your son has just gone through one of these rites of passage.
Yes, he has. He has. And he's graduated at the age of 15.
Yeah, and you found it beneficial.
Yeah, it's an ongoing journey, ongoing progress, but it was better than him sitting at home and playing computer games.
Mm. And as I said, I mean, a lot of youths that probably they might not want to kind of say go through initiation or rites of passage, because these programs are set to challenge you, right? And in order to kind of say to go forward, you have to let go of some of the things that you was doing before. But because the way the system really, right, has made these things so attractive, you know, um, they've struggled to let go of that. And you were saying to me the other day, really, right, that on that program they went on a camping thing the other day, in it, where they had to part of it was to not use their mobile phone, and
Yeah.
just having that connection there with nature without that interruption of the social media. That is, when you really look at our youth things out there today, is a total distraction for them, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. They went on a two nights camping in the bush, in the countryside in London, in the UK, where they had nothing to eat other than fruits and only water to drink. They had to set up their own camp. They had to start their own fire and fend for themselves. Yeah.
So I should imagine, like, say, when at 6 to 13, when they're going through initiation in the bush, I could imagine that is similar practices where they're taught life skills, you know, how to survive, you know, the, their purpose in life, giving them that sense of direction, and all the qualities, really, right, that's going to make.
And it allowed them also, with the mobile detox, it allowed them to be still in nature.
Mhm.
And through that stillness, wisdom whispers through silence.
Mhm. And also the opportunity for them to have conversation, as opposed to sending text messages. Really, they were forced then,
Mm.
really, to have those conversations face
Hmm.
to face, as opposed to the use of the phone, which we see that even in the household, people they're sending text messages to each other in each other's room, instead of having that kind of that human intervention, which is missing, which is desensitizing, because
Interaction.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the art of conversation has gone,
yeah,
basically, yeah.
yeah. And so that's one of the basic things where we see that society basically has dumbed down our children. Not just the children, but we're looking at the children because they are the future, really, yeah. And the system is clever that they know that they won't target elders no more, because they know that we're gonna die soon. So if they want to influence and change the future to what they want it to be, our children, our youth, they are the ones, really, right? They're targeting. And so, that's why I'm looking more like from the youth perspective, really, opportunities, really, and the reason why initiation is a good thing, really. So with this, we'll just wrap up that little section there. We have a proverb that we would like to give out there, really.
Yeah, we're going to read the proverb, play a musical interlude, and bring on our international speaker. So, this proverb, a Kemetic proverb, is the arrow that kills you is the one you don't see coming.
And that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because if you did see it,
You're the duck.
all right, then we'll just play this little interlude of music and come back again.
La la la. It's my master's will. I see the sun shining today. Don't know what it's gonna bring. You see, I give thanks to come what's made. Of my easy morsels, I surely thankfully receive. Ain't gonna sit down here, cry, worry, no free. Yeah, I give a little air, I give a little there, and I keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, yet it's good to share when you try to help someone else. Never see the brings behind the earth. You cannot hold on to your golden purse. If there is nothing that you can do, helping someone who works often in the earth. I give nice to have someone else. Wake up bread, sup of tea, a fish for you and a fish for me. Or there is nothing that you can do. Helping someone worse off than you. It's my master's will that I see the sun shining today. Don't know what it's gonna bring, but I give thanks, come what may. Of my measly morsels, I surely thankfully receive. Ain't gonna sit down here, cry, worry, or grieve. Yeah, I give a little air, I give a little there, and I keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, yet it's good to share, and it's nice to help someone else. Never see the brains behind the purse. Cannot hold on to your golden purse. Or there is nothing that you can do. Helping the brother worse off than you. Hey, give a little air and give a little there and keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, but it's good to share and it's nice to have someone else.
Ujjayi, and welcome back to the Wisdom of the Nile show. And we've got on the line our attorney from this.
Ushayi sense, Ushayi, Hentima Hatu.
Ujjayi,
Yes.
Can you hear us properly?
pretty well.
Okay, then that's good. Yeah. So, we would say Emren Makaru and Duawu for
Yes.
accepting and being a part of the Wisdom of the Nile show. And you know that is,
Oh, Mimi.
wow. So, yeah. So, could you tell us what your name? You know, introduce yourself.
My name is
Yeah.
Hentimat Bumaktem.
And the meaning of your name, please.
The meaning of Hentimat is the pleaser of the great goddess Mahat.
Okay. So you've got a lot of work on your hand to do then.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, well, you know, when we're given our names, really, yeah, is and we find out what they are, really, it makes it challenging, doesn't it?
It's a big challenge because Mahat stands for everything that's just and fair and equal and balanced and
Balance, yeah.
harmonious. So it's a constant, it's a daily challenge to do all of that.
So it sounds like the Eru set concept, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So either way, really, you know that you know, you're going off the scale, really, right? So it's hard to maintain balance, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next question I'd like to ask you though, it's how did you get to hear about the Health Center? And
Oh, actually, I heard about the Earth Center through my hairdresser, actually. She was telling me about a Dogon priest that's going to be coming to Canada. And she was telling me a bit about it. And I said, wow, this sounds like amazing. Tell me when they get here. I want to be there. So she actually did. And I went to the orientation. And that was it. I saw Irita Shinmira, and that was it for me. Everything he said fell right into place with what I was looking for a very, very long time. And it just sounded good. And I didn't know what I was getting into exactly, but I knew it was for me. And the deeper that I got into it, the more I loved it. And yeah, here I am.
So prior to that, what was like, say, your journey, like leading up to coming to the Earth Center?
Ooh, my journey was everything that I could possibly find that was spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up in the church or anything like that. So when I became of age, I took myself to church and trying to find answers. And after a few years, that didn't help me. So I was just trying to like read different things and follow different things. And nothing ever clicked, nothing ever felt right until I came to the Earth Center.
Mm. And there's no turning back after this now, then.
No turning back. This is my life now.
Yeah.
So, what was it in particular, Henti Mahat, that actually resonated with you at the Earth Center? Having sought for other spirituality systems, what was it that resonated with you?
For me, it was just the fact that they said, don't believe anything we say.
Mm-hmm.
Just, go through it, like see it for yourself. Check everything we say. Don't take our word for it. And it was like, yeah, everything they said was logical. Everything they said was truthful. Everything made sense. So, and like I said, the deeper that I got into it, I found that more and more. So it was like, yeah, this is it for me.
And the more you learn, the more you realize that you don't actually know anything, isn't it?
Exactly. Oh, you
Mm.
nailed it on the head. Exactly.
Mm.
So, I know what is your position at your temple?
Well, I'm the Sak. So, I mean, I'm a first generation initiate in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm the Sak, and I'm
What's the
also,
position? What is the role of a sack, please?
the Sak is like, I guess, fulfilling part of my name
Ah.
because we have a king and queen for our generation, for our
Mm-hmm.
school.
Mm-hmm.
And every kind of challenge or anything that we're going through is presented to them for help, like to talk it through and to come to a solution. So when the king and queen can't figure it out, it goes to me.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So I'm kind of like
The problem
I don't
solver.
know, I don't want to say judge, but like I follow the principles and see what solution can be brought.
So this is where the balance in your name comes about. You're trying to find a balance for everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And being just and fair.
Mm. And you were saying like sort of the way when you came to initiation, they said don't believe anything. That's so different to other what we'd call it institutions out there, like religion, churches, where they don't want you to question them.
Exactly. They don't want you to question anything. And when you do, they just say you shouldn't question, you should just believe.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Earth Center, they don't ask you to believe. They ask you to check and verify yourself and, see if it works for you and everything. So yeah, it just makes so much more sense.
For me, it was the same kind of a thing, not to go on this belief, because belief is unsure, and everybody's selling something which is so unsure, they're not certain of. And this, organization offers you something that is real, that is solid, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So, how long have you been an initiate then, really?
Well, Canada is fairly new, so it's 2 years. So yeah, we started 2 years ago, opened our school, and like I said, I'm first generation, part of first generation. So it started with us, and we have a second generation now as well. We've graduated.
Mm.
First generation has graduated, and we're now Hattanees. So we have a second generation,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and yeah, soon to be working on a third.
Yeah,
Mm.
excellent,
Mm.
excellent. So, so we're going to ask you, what challenges or struggles did you face going through initiation?
Ooh, the challenges were many. Um, it's not really the school that was challenging. It was the initiation in itself. Like everyone comes with their own baggage and their own history and everything. So mine, I mean, I have a big family and I was a stay-at-home mom. I have 6 children, and leaving to go to the temple when you're always home was like shocking for them. And, we have a business as well. I have a catering business with my husband, and he's like, oh, well, you're going to the temple again? Like, what about, working? And so it was just a matter of balancing all that. But that was a challenge.
Okay.
And just different things that happened within a generation because we were, so far, we're the biggest generation that has graduated. We were 11 people.
Yeah.
And having those 11 people with all those histories and all that baggage come together and make a family and become the Bumaktem, that was a great challenge.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. So, sorry, what are the ages of your children, please, Saint?
Oh, now they're 26, 24, 22, 20, 18, and 12.
Oh, wow, wow. So have any of them been enticed into initiation?
Well, I mean, my daughter has come for readings. Three of my sons actually have come, but nothing really stuck. So, but I work on them at home.
And everything in its time, isn't it? Everyone's on their own individual journey and coming to their realization in
Exactly.
their time. Yeah, but definitely you will be their impetus. Uh,
Oh,
uh,
definitely.
uh,
I have them greeting me with Ujjayi, and yeah, it's
okay.
starting.
Excellent.
so um, the previous part of our show, we was talking more about like the youths, and the way that society basically is leading them down the path of destruction and self-destruction, by all the things that they're pushing onto them out there, their values, the printers, influences in the media and everything like that. Now, having children and that, how do you see, you know, um, societal kind of destruction? How has initiation helped you to keep your children, or trying to kind of say to give them a sense of direction?
Well, I would say that prior to initiation, I was like a big time warrior. So I would really like always keep my children, especially my boys, informed of what's going on out there and what they have to be careful of. And it's still kind of the same thing. I don't worry as much because, of everything that I've learned, but I still keep them informed and I still show them that, you know, uh, I'm pretty much in charge of their destiny. So it's my responsibility or my job to, steer them a certain way. So I mean, they're young, they have their fun and everything, but they're very good children, I would say. They're very because they all live at home with me still, and they're very good children. I would say that they're very, very decent, well mannered. They don't really follow the crowds. They have good heads on their shoulders, and they really kept to the values that we've instilled in them. And, just with everything that I learn, I just come home and I tell them about it. So they get that perspective as well. So, yeah,
And they do
it really
embrace,
helps a lot.
the conversation that you have with them on the kind of teaching.
Definitely. They definitely embrace it. They're not ready to full on like join the initiation themselves, but they definitely, definitely embrace it. I mean, every time I do my ancestral, they know the protocol, and everything. So they really respect it. And yeah,
So for most of our youth and things out there that is kind of going astray, would you see that initiation would be a solution to some of the problems in them having those values about who they are, the knowledge of self, their cultural values? How do you?
I think it would help a lot because they would have a better understanding of who they are. So some battles that people might get into, they wouldn't even have to entertain. And also they would know about self-control and emotions and, what why people do the things they do. They'd have a better understanding so they could steer clear of certain trouble.
Mm.
And I'm sure that you're growing them in with the code of human behavior as well,
Definitely, definitely.
which is a good foundation, isn't it? A solid foundation
Yeah,
to add on to what you've already given them.
Mm.
exactly.
So like we see out there, yeah, there's a lot of one-parent families out there. Oftentimes, it's just the mothers on their own, and especially like when they have the male child, there's that kind of that energy that's missing. Do you think and so, a lot of the times as well there is no kind of support, like we're seeing that in Merita there, but they have the community, there's a community there, so there's always someone there for you. Here
Yeah,
we tend to be insular, and families, the way it is now, everybody's apart, chasing their own carrot really. And so those children, mainly the boys, I mean, because that's what the system is targeting, our male children out there, them not having
that's
that
true.
energy there. Do you see then like initiation, like say those mothers kind of say even considering putting their children through just to give them that balance? How do you see that would kind of impact on them?
I mean, in our school, I haven't really seen that because some of the initiates don't have children yet. And then some are married, so it's a two-parent family. But yeah, there's, I do see, I mean, I'm a child of divorce, so I noticed in my brother, like there was no male energy there for him. So he got that from outside. But what was fortunate for him was that, or good timing, was that he was around very good people. So he had like, I guess you would call them mentors or older
Mm-hmm.
uh, guys that were around him that would influence him, that put good things into him as well as my mom did. So that helped a lot.
Yeah.
But for me myself, I'm married. Me and my husband are raised our children. So um, I didn't have that personally, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I do see how initiation would help that because you have your generation, you have the hats and knees in the school, you have like enough people around you to influence you positively and to always keep you on your toes and keep you on track. And if they see you going astray, to pull you back and say, think about what you're doing.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, as we know that the family is very important out there, and sure you've covered the class on the family values, and we can see how in Western society here, from where I was coming from anyway, my era, is that it's like the system basically encourage one-parent families. Sort of like women were given council flats, that kind of stuff, and so
Yeah,
they were given that on the basis, right, that the father was absent, so he wasn't supposed to be there. And so what we find really, right, there was like a big increase, a big of one parent family really, right, hence a lot of our youth out there just didn't really get that support that they needed, like from the male energy. That was the reason why I posed that question there, because I see it, that it is a problem out there, that I belong to a black father support group, and I remember one father came there one day, and he said he came there just because he never had a father, and he didn't know,
wow.
and he had his own child now, and he didn't know how to be a father, or he questioned what he was doing was, was it right or wrong, because he never had nothing to compare it against, you know. And
Okay.
so I can imagine if he was one, I can imagine there's a lot of them out there. So if they don't have no given example of, we can see like the destruction that the male element is not there. Society is targeting our women them with beauty and all different kinds of things like that. So that their direction and their focus is not on their children. It's about looking good and everything else apart from the child. Which, as I say in Kemetic tradition, here really is that when a child come, it's everything is about that child because he came to fulfill a destiny. And so the
Exactly.
education, everything should be given to help him to go forward. You know.
Yeah. And sometimes mothers in those situations, they have multiple children, so it's not even just the one, it's many. So yeah, it could become very problematic. But I know that that happens a lot. And I mean, I'm grateful for the Earth Center because it is a place where young men can come and get direction. Because there are brothers here that can, be an example for them.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I mean, you know, I know personally what I've got out of it really, and oftentimes people pose questions to me, and I don't know if it's ever been posed to you as to say, what are you getting out of this? Why are you doing this? What have you ever been asked such a question? Like,
Oh
some.
yeah, for sure. At the beginning, people were asking me like, "Well, how come you're going to the temple so much, and what is this about?" And so I would just explain to them, I'm going back. I'm like really trying to like find my ancestors and follow their ways and, you know, communicate with them and, because they're the ones guiding me anyway. So I want to do everything that I can for them as well on my part. So after when they understood that, they're like, okay. So they know that this is my life. It's not a lifestyle. It's like, this is what I'm doing with my life. I mean, I'm doing other things with my life, but this is the main, most important thing. I would find my family, incorporating my family with the Earth Center and just following that way of life, following the steps of my ancestors, honoring them, remembering them, feeding them, you know.
So tell me, Santa, have you been to pilgrimages yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so how was that experience? Because I've not gone yet.
That was the trip of a lifetime.
Uh-huh.
There was nothing touristy about it. It was, going home, like really being home and just like seeing your people and just, being in the culture and everything that we learned was like happening there. It was just the way of life there. Everything that we learned, how we should be, and everything. It was just that's the way they live. And we did a lot of spiritual work. It was just we were in nature. I'm not a nature girl at all. I'm a total city girl. I see a little spider, I go running. And the nature was the best part. It was amazing. I don't even know how to put it into words, but it was just, hearing the drums and just being in vegetables and connecting with the ancestors. It was the absolute best. I'm gonna try my best to go every single year
Yeah.
until I can actually move there.
Oh, so you see that as a future place of dwelling then?
Oh yes, definitely.
So where does your family hail from?
Well, I'm born in Canada actually, and my children as well. My husband is from Guyana in
Okay.
South America, and my parents are from the Caribbean. So my mom's from Barbados, my dad's from Saint Lucia.
Okay. So have you traveled to those countries before?
Oh yes, and they're beautiful.
Right. So
They're absolutely beautiful.
how does the liberty in Merita compare to the Caribbean?
It's a lot of similarities, but like the mindset is totally different. Like I find in the Caribbean, they really want to be European,
Mm-hmm.
but they have the ocean, they have the gorgeous weather, they have all the fruits, they have everything there, but nobody wants to really make a garden or, do any farming. They
Wow.
just want to be like how it is in the West. Like you go to the store, you buy your food,
Yeah.
and that's it. It's like they're not really into nature when they have it all right there. So
Mm-hmm.
in Merita, it's like you see the farmers, you see them growing their food that they're gonna eat and making everything from scratch, and it's just beautiful. It's
You
just beautiful.
you mentioned that you have a food business.
Yes, I have a catering business with my husband.
So do you grow your own food?
No, we don't actually, because we live in Montreal. It's cold most of the year, and we
Okay.
have, you know, not, we don't live in a house, so we don't have a garden in the back where we can cultivate our own food.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we have to do it, I guess, the Western way and just buy our food. Also, with many clients, we wouldn't even be able to grow enough food to keep up the demand.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, that's
Well,
the situation we're in.
it sounds like a successful business then, so that is good.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. It's getting busy, so that's great.
Excellent, excellent.
Well, you can probably make an arrangement with those in Marita to supply you with your fresh product.
Well, we're really working on getting some kind of nuts, almonds, cashews, moringa, some kind of nuts to make our own stuff here. But we have to see with shipping and demand and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're working on it.
Well, it
Hmm.
sounds to be quite positive. Mm. So,
So, Sen, we were wondering about the program for the summer in where you are at the moment. I know that your temple is actually setting up a summer camp. Is that correct?
Yes, we have a summer camp called Camp Mesra, and it's been running since like the end of June, and it's going till the end of August. So we do different activities with the children, and we do like drumming. We do water games because it's summer. We do water games at the park and stuff like that. But we teach them like it depends on the ages because it goes from like age 4 to age 12. So depending
Okay.
on the ages and what each child needs, we do for the younger children, we do like teaching them, their letters, their numbers, and stuff like that. And we also try to uh, we have this part of the day called being like a pharaoh. So
Mhm.
just teaching them, like telling them different stories and teaching them, how it was in those days and where we come from. And because some of the young people here think that, okay, well, from slavery, that's how we got, and like they think everything started from slavery. So we're trying to
Mhm.
show them that everything started way before that and we had such great things and what some of those things were without going too deep because they
Mhm.
are younger, especially the 4-year-olds. We don't go too deep, but we
Mhm.
just at their level tell them how we used to be before, things that we used to do, practices that we used to have,
Mhm.
that we're continuing now today. We're getting back to that, so you
Mhm.
see them like, feel more full of pride, and
Wow.
so they're understanding and they're getting more confidence, and so I'm confident that when they go back to school, whether they're homeschooled or in a public school,
Mm.
they will, be able to know where they come from and where their people stood, and just standing on that and different principles, it's going to change things.
Excellent. You're planting the seeds, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
well, that is like an initiation within itself, though, isn't it? Really, what you're doing there.
Exactly, yeah. But at
Yeah.
their level, because,
Yeah.
initiation I think starts at 7, but they're like 4.
Mm.
So they're still grasping certain concepts and yeah.
Pre initiation. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as they say,
Yeah,
you bend the tree from its small ruler, right? So, if they've got that in, because this is the time now where they're soaking in all the information that's going to be relevant for the rest of their life. So, it's a
exactly.
good place to start, really.
Yeah.
So
I
is
think they're in the best place actually because I don't know where else offers that. So,
is this done by all the initiates though? That's actually kind of supervising this then.
oh no, it's actually an initiative that was brought forth by our head mayor in Canada, Satiutsi Bumaktam. It was his idea, so he presented the idea to us, and I just jumped on the idea. I thought it was like really great, so I said, "Count me in. I'm part of it." So there's other initiates. There's two people from the second generation that are on board as well. So we're the ones really running it. I mean, we have like other initiates doing other things for the school. So it's just a time limit thing, I guess you could say. So we're working on the camp. Other people are doing stuff in Ancasta. Other people are doing things in Firefly, and we're just like all doing other different things with the temple as well. So I guess we're just splitting up the tasks. But yeah, everybody's on board with the idea. It's really great, and yeah, the kids are. We can see it even from the end of June till now, a change in them,
Wow.
more control of themselves. They know when to play, they know when to sit, they know when they have to listen. That wasn't the case at the beginning. So, yeah,
That's
it's really, really
excellent.
great.
That's absolutely excellent.
So, how many hours like do you have them for each day, or is it like every day, or is it just like so many?
It's every day from Monday to Friday, but it varies. Like there's one because it's like a 8 week camp, like it's for the whole summer. Well, our summer is 2 months, it's 8 weeks. So for the whole summer, there's one child that's steady all the way through, and then there's some that come in, some that go, some that come in, some that go. So they bounce in and out. But there's one child that's like all the way through. So yeah.
That's excellent. Well, hopefully we can get some pointers from you, and maybe next year the London Temple could be doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. We want it to spread to every temple. If people want to do it like as a program outside of the temple, even, that'd be great. Just as long as the youth get that base, get that foundation, get the knowledge, that's what really counts.
Yes, definitely.
And is this done using the temple, or you've got like your own private space for that?
No, it's actually done in the temple. So yeah, we all meet at the temple and the children come and we do the activities. We always start the day with a talk about, how it was the night before, how they slept. They tell us what they ate for breakfast or whatever. We just have a talk and then we start our day. Either we do gardening or we do something outside, some water games. Then we do some reading. Sometimes we read the Hejta, give them different stories, and then they ask questions and we answer them, we discuss. And then, there's so many things we do. There's a program for every day. It's different. So, yeah.
Excellent.
That's a brilliant book to read to them, though. The Edge Patel, they really, I really like
Oh,
the
yeah.
stories, and that really it makes them think, isn't it?
Yeah, they really like discussing after. Yeah, they really like that part. They like to like make up their own ending sometimes. It's funny.
So, in terms of say the future of the EC, there really are you promoting the school kind of
In the events.
We are promoting the school. We have so many things going on. I mean, even on Casta, every Sunday from 2 to 5 in the afternoon, they have a whole healing clinic where it's just like, it's not classes or anything, it's just presentations, interactive discussions. It's totally free. Guests come and we just talk about healing and what it means to them and just different topics within healing. So it's very interesting, and it's a free, you know, get together at the temple, and we discuss healing and Ankasta and what we offer. So it's very interesting for because there's people out there, they don't know anything except like maybe the commercials that are shown on TV.
Mm.
And for if this is bothering you, take this pill. If that's bothering you, take that pill. So
Mm.
we come with something different, and it's really different for the general public.
Mm.
S- So, in terms of, like, say, from the ancestor side of it, I know here we have to be careful about how we promote um, what we class as healing. I don't know. Is it free? Is it a free scope that you can make certain claims where you are there, or
We
is there?
can't really make certain claims. We can only tell them to try it and see what it does for them.
Mm,
We can't make any claims, but we can tell our testimonies and what it's done for ourselves, because we're all using the Ninika, the
yeah.
everything that Ancasta has.
Mm,
So we're using it, so we can tell them what it's done for us.
mm.
Would you like to give out your temple's details, your telephone number and address to the
Oh
listeners?
yes, our temple is 1845 Struan. It's in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And the phone number is 514-381-8650.
Okay, excellent.
So you want to repeat that just in case there's someone listening out there that
Yes, it's
you
1845 Struan, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And it's 514, the area code 514-381-8650.
and for, say, people listening out there who are not sure about making that commitment really to initiation,
Oh, wow. I mean,
how what
you gotta
encouragement?
try it. You just gotta try it. You gotta come and hear for yourself, ask questions as many as you want. And trust me, your questions will be answered here. No one's gonna turn you away and say that you shouldn't ask that, or don't ask, or you shouldn't be asked. Your questions will definitely be answered. And it's something that you just gotta try. Like, you see how it works for you. Like, just get into it, see how it works for you. That's the only way you'll know. And if you don't do that, you may regret it, because you'll never know.
Yeah. You're,
Another thing that we have going on at our temple is every Monday morning at 10 a.m. we have a Katsi practice. So people can come and we practice Katsi together. It's totally free as well. We practice Katsi together, and then until 11, and then from 11 to 12:30, the head mayor, he teaches self-defense, and it's all done at the temple.
Wow, that's quite a good program,
wow.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and in these days, it's really needed, unfortunately, self-defense. So all the women have really jumped on board, and some men as well. But yeah, as women, we need to defend ourselves, need to know how to defend ourselves. So that's very important.
So
Okay.
what's the situation over there, like in Toronto there, that with our youths, with the young youths? Is it, we see a lot of these killings and things like in the States, where there's kind of madness taking place. We're getting a lot of that over here in the UK. What's it like over there for our youth? Because we're concerned about, like, the path that some of them are taking and the influence that society is imposing on them. Is it a good or a bad thing happening over there at this moment of time?
I would say that out of all the places that I've heard of, everything going wrong, mass shootings, police brutality, everything like that, I would say Montreal is pretty calm. I mean, it happens, especially police brutality. It happens all the time, but I would say it's pretty calm compared to Toronto. Toronto has so many shootings. My own brother-in-law was murdered that way. Um, and
Oh man.
Yeah, it's Toronto is like a mini US. That's what I call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually not really fond of going to the US for that reason. Very
Mm-hmm.
afraid. But that's just my personal fear. But yeah, it's you hear all the stories. It's terrible, and I'm pretty sure after talking with a Hatsani in the UK, it's we compared stories, and it's pretty much the same thing.
Mm.
It's really frustrating. Uh, anyway, for the Black community, it's very very frustrating
Mm.
because we're not getting justice,
No.
you know. But I mean, it's hard because all those things are so political, and we're like so centered on spiritual things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to balance your life out there in the world with it being so political and unjust and basically getting beat down, and then inside the temple is like a sanctuary where you
Mm-hmm.
practice your spirituality and you're with your brothers and sisters and you're in peace. So it's a big contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Of course, when you went on pilgrimage there, really, and you kind of saw our communities, actually, you don't really see the same violence and the same kind of mentality. I'm sure that was some of the things that kind of would make you want to go there and be within a community like that, where you don't have to be looking over your back, your shoulder every 5 seconds, really, like, someone's going to be doing you something, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my feeling when I went there was just that all the people that I met and all the people that I saw, it's just when you look at them, it's like it just seems like they were born on principles, and there's just certain things
Mm-hmm.
that you just don't do. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that there's no crime. I didn't see any, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there must be some, but I didn't see any, and it's just people are so principled there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're like so upright. They're so, you know, they expect everybody to do what's right, and if you don't live up to expectations, it's like shame, and nobody wants to be shamed.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
Which is
I suppose when you go through, like say, we've gone through initiation and we understand really right that you can't rob out the things in that you've done. Yeah, so people are probably a little bit more mindful before they actually do things, knowing that everything that they do is going to be held against them in some way or the other. So you become more conscious and aware of what you do from what you don't do.
exactly, they're so aware, and it's like they just have a different mindset. Their thinking is like right thinking, but they're very preventative. Like, let me not do anything I'm going to regret. Let me not
Mm-hmm.
do anything I'm going to regret.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the West, it's more like, oh well, I did that. How can I fix it? If
Mm-hmm.
that, they might not even want to fix it.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, a big contrast. Destruction, because the
Yeah,
tools have been put there for them to self-destruct,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and the goals that society have set them is to see who can self-destruct the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they
yeah,
will see who can get drunk the quickest. That
exactly.
is the aspiration of many of the teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, all the traps have been set. It's just we're falling into it at a
Mm-hmm.
rapid pace right now. So,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is why the Earth Center is one of the best things that's happened to the world. The Makaru has
definitely.
brought this knowledge to us to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm so grateful for it. I mean, I never met the Makru. I wish I did, but I never did. But I'm so grateful to him because he brought this to the West. Otherwise, we'd just be wandering around lost, just
Hmm.
trying to find our way.
We are.
This really gives
Mm-hmm.
direction and principles to stand on and a way to live by.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an empty stage, isn't it? Of not knowing, or you think that you know, but you're not. You're not there at all, but
Ex-
you think that you are.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So when you was over there though, how did you like the food and that? How did you get along with the food? I hear they eat a lot of toll or toll.
Yes, toe is the main food. I mean, I tasted it right away. I liked it, but
Okay.
after you have it for a while, it's like, okay, can we have something else? But it's great. It's very filling. So I understand why they eat it because you eat that and you're good for the rest of until the next meal. That's one thing that I noticed a big change in, like compared to the West, we just eat whenever we want to eat. But there, you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's it. And it's beautiful because you don't have all these snacks and in between and this and that. There's no confusion. Everything is simple. Nobody's hungry. Everything is like laid out, and that's when you eat. And it's regulated, but it's a good regulation. I mean, like, yeah, it's very good for the body. It's good for your mind. It's just, yeah, you have a time to eat, you have a time to do your spiritual work, and everything is in order. That's what I really love about it. Everything is in order. You have everything you need. You're not wanting for anything. And I mean, they don't just eat so every single day. They do have different things. They made this thing that I really love called wache, which is like a rice and peas with a stew on top of it kind of thing. Really, really tasty.
Okay. Well,
So
like stew
yeah,
peas
but
kind of
then
thing.
again, that's filling as well. So
Are you a vegetarian by any chance?
I was a vegan, a super hardcore vegan. Ask anybody that knows me. But when I went to Merita, eventually I started eating meat because the sacrifices are done, and to get the blessing, they cook it and they eat it after. So I was missing a lot of blessings, and then I finally gave in, and I got my blessings. But no, it's not that I was a vegan because I didn't want to hurt animals. I did it for health. Like
Yeah.
the meat in the West is injected with all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to eat all of that. So in Merita, it's like the animal's there right in front of you, and it's slaughtered and it's cooked and it's eaten. It's completely fresh. And the same thing with the fish and just everything they eat. So it's not a problem at all.
So you're a vegan when you're at home, but when you go to Merita, you eat the meat.
Yeah, it sounds strange, but that's exactly what it is.
Because of it.
It's not strange. It's not strange. It's common sense. Oh dear. Well, Nahibsa and I, we're vegans, so I know your struggle.
Yeah. But I'm
Yeah.
actually very, very happy because I mean, my husband's a chef, so he makes all these like wonderful vegan dishes, so I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite interesting. I mean, it's really, I mean, I'm envious of you making that trod there really right and having that experience. So, yeah, I don't know what to
It
say.
was really beautiful because everything is done together. Like it's really a community, like a real community.
Community,
Like I
yeah.
know in the West we talk about the Black community, but they're not really united. But there it's like a community. It's really a community. Any problem you have, you bring it and everybody speaks on it. And it's like a giant family. It's really a community. You have the elders, you have the young ones running around, and everything in between. So it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
So much has been taken from us, but as I said, we have to give thanks to the Makaru for setting the pace for us to return back to
Yeah,
what was taken from us, you know.
yeah, I appreciate him so much, so much.
Well, we appreciate your time today, Sant.
Oh, thank you so much for having me,
Yeah,
Duo.
yeah, we've got to wrap up now. We're coming to the end of the show.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
So if there's anything learn or lastminute.com you want to try to get out there really right to help to promote what the good works that you're doing there with the youths and things, put it out there. So you know.
Yeah, just to recap, we're at 1845 Struan, phone number 514-381-8650. Come check us out. We have all kinds of programs. We have Camp Mesra. We have a self-defense class, Catchy B practice. We have Ancasta presentations and health clinics, discussions. A lot's going on. So yeah, come join us.
Yeah, so you all hear that from NT Mahat, and from us here on the Wisdom of the Nile show. We just say duawu for giving us your precious time and sharing with us your experience, from your journey, your pilgrimage, and your initiation. And yeah, duawu for that. And
Oh,
pray that you
Nini,
and
I
your
say duo
family.
to you guys too for having me on.
Dua
Yeah.
Senti. May the ancestors put good things on your path.
Duo, you as well.
Dua Nini.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay, Iriru.
Hiru hiru.
And we'll just play you just a short interlude of music before we go to the next section.
It's my master's will. I see the sun shining today. Don't know what it's gonna bring. You see, I give thanks to come what's may. Of my easy morsels, I surely thankfully receive. Ain't gonna sit down here, cry, worry, no free. Yeah, I give a little air, I give a little there, and I keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, yet it's good to share when you try to help someone else. You ever see it brings me on the earth? You cannot hold on to your golden purse. If there is nothing that you can do, helping someone worse off than you. I give a little air, I give a little there, and I keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, yet it's good to share, but it's nice to help someone else. Break of bread, sup of tea, a fish for you and a fish for me. Or there is nothing that you can do, helping someone worse off than you. It's my master's will that I see the sun shining today. Don't know what it's gonna bring, but I give thanks, come what may. Of my measly morsels, I surely thankfully receive. Ain't gonna sit down here, cry, worry, or grieve. Yeah, I give a little air, I give a little there, and I keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, yet it's good to share, and it's nice to help someone else. Never see the prince behind the purse. Cannot hold on to your golden purse. Or there is nothing that you can do. Helping the brother worse off than you. Hey, give a little air and give a little there, and keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, but it's good to share, and it's nice to help someone else. It's my master's will that I see the sun shining today. Don't know what it's gonna bring, but I give thanks, come what may. I give a little air, and I give a little there, and I keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, but it's good to share, and it's nice to have someone else. I give a little air, and I give a little there, and I keep a little for myself. Life is so unfair, but it's good to share, and it's nice to have someone else.
and I'm going to give up.
Ujai, and welcome back to the Wisdom of the Nile show. And we'd just like to say dua for our sister there in Canada.
In Canada, the
Yeah,
Earth Center.
NT Mahat, and the great works that they're doing, both for themselves and for our future, the children, the youths, you know. And we just like to say big up, really, to all the other initiates, really, right, who are involved in that program there, in trying to say, bring things forward. So moving on, this is still about the youths and their ability, really. We speak a lot about negative things, so this is a positive side to it. So our sister here, Kasati, is going to take you through a list of achievement that's
Yeah, tired of the negativity. Every day you turn on the TV, which I don't watch TV anyway, or you turn on the news, which I don't listen to because it's full of so much negativity about our people and our youths. So people who don't live in the UK think that every day it's mass shootings going on here amongst the children, amongst the black youths, and it really is not the case. The majority of our children across the world actually are doing very positive things. It's only a minority that are contributing to the destruction that society is setting them up to be. Now, there's a few things that I'm just going to look at or just let people know about some African inventions and inventors on the continent and abroad, out in the diaspora. So one that I found was a charging shoe that's been invented by a Kenyan inventor called Anthony Mutua. So this technology is applied to charge phones using the power generated by pedestrians. So it's a chip that goes into the sole of the shoe, and when a person walks, it generates electricity enough to charge your mobile phone. So that's something that he actually received funding for, quite millions of Kenyan dollars to actually put out on the market. So he's got a successful business now doing that. Another one to draw to attention is a civil engineering student in Cape Town, Tinashe Chipako, who created a fertilizer urine project to combat the water crisis that was faced in Cape Town. So here he realized that they could actually use fertilizer from the urine collected from the toilets on campus. And he's actually won an award for that as well, a civil engineering award. Another is a young girl, also in South Africa, Gabriella Magali. She's actually, due to a massive fire that destroyed thousands of homes, thousands of hectares of land, forestation, and over 800 buildings, she's actually created a fireproof shack that would not go up in flames if it was caught alight.
And how important is that, though?
Well, it's saving property, saving lives, and it's economically, environmentally friendly as well. So when we think that our youths are not doing anything, when we're being told in the schools that they cannot achieve, the schools are constantly teaching our children or telling our children that they are not high achievers. They put them in low grades. They exclude them for simplest of things to demoralize them and take them off their path. Another African inventor, he's a Nigerian man, Kehinde Duaraji, who's attempted to build an aero-amphibious jet car. So he's already driven it on land and sea, and now he's trying to see if he can conquer the air and get this jet car to start flying. Also, there are 3 developers in Kenya, Marvin Makua, Edwin Injanji, and Kenneth Kachuika, who've actually developed an app on, so people in distress, all they need to do is shake their phones 3 times, and that's activated to a call center where they can get immediate attention. So these are just some technological things that our people who have always been technologically advanced amongst throughout creation. These are the things that many of our people are actually using their brains to create innovation. There's also a young child in the UK, Amari McQueen. Now, Amari is a 10-year-old who's actually started his own vegan business that was set up just due to the fact that his mother was ill, his father was working, and because his mother was ill most of the time with terrible migraines, she taught her child how to cook to look after her while she couldn't do that for herself. Now, this 10-year-old has now developed his own business and is a vegan chef of making his own dips. And he's now a CEO of his company. He teaches other children. He holds a workshop at his home and teaches other children how to cook, and encourage them how to be entrepreneurs as well. So these are just a few of the many, many good things that our children out there are doing. They're not all caught up in the technological mind games. And some of them are actually using the technology for positive purposes.
Yeah, well for that. Yeah, that's so important, really, right? Because we don't often get publicized out there for doing the right things, but it's happening. Our youths out there, they're not just self-destructing, as we know. It's just a small percentage, but the media, they have they're very cunning the way that they label. Like when it comes down to, say, terrorism, that they put that, when you say terrorism, you look at the Muslims. When you say killing, like knife crime or certain things like that, they look at black people. And we know really that yes, we are kind of imploding on ourselves to a certain extent, but we know that we are not like the majority, the way that it's put out there, really, as if to say it's just us alone that's actually doing that. When you actually look at the statistic and the percentage, um, it's happening. When you look at like the football games, pubs, all these different kind of so-called social kind of areas where people go every week in, week out, and that's not been put out there, and that's amongst themselves. But yet, as soon as one black youth do something out there, it's on the mainstream, as if to say this is happening um, all across our community, and all of our children, our youths, them are doing that. But this was just an example, just to show you our potential when we are nurtured. Just like what the sister in Canada was doing, taking our youth from a young age, giving them that sense of direction, so that they can channel all that energy there, really, in the right direction. Hence, we get kind of the result of, like what the people that she's read out here, who are able to use and to, create new innovations. A lot of it as well is nature friendly,
They are economically and environmentally friendly. Yes, sorry, yes.
which is very important, really, because
Yeah.
all the invention here seems to be, it's all destructive, really. So we can see the difference in the thinking process in using nature, as opposed to using these artificial means that they're used to, and they make something that's supposed to be good, but yet it's destroying the very said thing that they're trying to preserve. Or, well, I don't think their aim is to preserve anything,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to have to draw to the end of the show, but before I do so, I'm going to draw your attention to a few events that are happening at the weekend. One is on Sunday, the 11th of August, at the Lewisham Village, between 12 and 8 p.m. And that is at Unit 3, Retail Park, Lewisham, London, SE137RZ. And it's a transformation, a mind, body, and spirit experience. So there's going to be health, yoga. It's an unforgettable mind, body, and spirit experience that will inspire, uplift, and empower you to discover your authentic self. The Earth Center will be having a stall there. So if anyone wants to come along, interact further with us, we will be there on Sunday between 12 and 8 p.m. And that again is at Unit 3, Lewisham Retail Park, London, SE137RZ. And on Saturday, the 10th of August, between 2 and 8 p.m., there is an event in Nonhead, that's London, SE15 3QQ, 5 Nonhead Green. At this event as well, you will find Dogon Earth Center initiates where you can contact, speak with, interact with. And there's going to be, it's entitled Bring Back the Love and Healing to the Community. So these are two events at the weekend that you can attend and interact with Dogon initiates there from the Earth Center.
Yeah, and again, we're gonna give out the phone number for the London school, which is in 21 Sunnyside Road, London E10 7BB, and the email address is inquiries
Hyphen.
UK at theearthcenter.org. And as I said, the phone number is 0207 175 4144.
And you can also have a look at our brand new website, which is theearthcenter.org.
Yeah, and we're gonna give out the number also for the Coventry School, which is 0247 6266 859. And the next number is 073 05 99 5944, and it's 18 Biggin All Crescent, CV3 1GS, and this is a Coventry school. So if anyone is in Coventry, over that side of the country, and that's close to them, as I said, like your privilege really, or to come and sit in on one of the classes. So these numbers, you can actually use these numbers to contact the school and make arrangement of the day that you'd like to come in. And I'm sure once you come in and you actually see or hear the information that's been given, you know, from there you could make that next step forward, you know.
So,
So,
Duawu to Bless FM Radio.
and Duawu from the Earth Center and the Wisdom of the Nile show. We just say Duawu for everyone who has locked in and has been listening. And Yeah, we'd appreciate it sometime though if to get one and two phone calls really, right? To say though, any burning questions that you might have, don't be shy. You know, if we can answer it, we will try to answer it the best way that we can. And if we can't, as we said, if we don't know the answer, we won't try to make it that we do. We'll go and ask someone who do know. So that's a part of the ethos in the school that we try not to say things that doesn't go that way.
We don't know.
Yeah,
There's never any guessing.
yeah,
If you don't know, you don't know, and then you strive to know.
yeah. And that is a part of our development, really, because as they would say, our aim is to keep evolving, and this planet that we're on has got millions and millions and millions of years of knowledge and information waiting for us really to kind of to tap into.
Hmm.
And so um, being a part of the Earth Center is giving us the tools and the understanding of how, when we spoke about the Earth energy readings, this is how our ancestors is able to find answers to a lot of the questions that Western society, that's just, they don't got no idea, but they're trying to make out as if to say that they do know. And in coming through initiation, really, um, that is the pleasure in you now know what you didn't know that you didn't know or you
Hmm.
thought that you knew.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And is giving us that tool that we can be more assertive and confident in ourselves and have that sense of direction. So for all you listeners out there, really, right, who you got problem children out there and they're lost and they don't know, it's a good place to start off, really. You know.
Because there's nothing to hold on to, and the only thing to hold on to is yourself. So your one
Mm-hmm.
has to know yourself
Mm-hmm.
and your ancestors,
Mm-hmm. We,
and we're given the tools to do so.
mm-hmm. And as we say, without our ancestors, there wouldn't be no us because they are the ones that actually negotiate our destiny and what we're going through here now. They're the ones that negotiate each day that's given to us.
Hmm.
So yeah, we speak sometime about our ancestral day and our divine holy day. These are the reasons why we honor our ancestors, you know. So we remember them and they remember us, you know. You find in modern religion and that there's no connection back to our ancestors. It's just now and that's it. There's nothing beyond that, you know. And so, because we know that we didn't just come here, appear from nowhere, and so the fact that we know that there was someone before us, and with the teaching from the Earth Center, going through initiation, it breaks it all down into little fine, small bite pieces where you fully get to understand and appreciate who and what you are, and your sense of purpose, really. And it makes that journey a lot more easier, at least knowing where you're heading towards, as opposed to there is no direction to your life, so there's nowhere to reach, you know. So
So Iriru, everyone, and Duau Emren Makaru to Nebnabala Musa Moradenebeg.
and the same to Naba Irita Shamira for continuing the work and spreading the knowledge and the information as far as it will go. So to our
And Iriru.
Iriru. You can use that.
This could be the first trumpet, might as well be the last. Many more will have to suffer, many more will have to die. Don't ask me why. Things are not the way they used to be. I won't tell no lie. One and all got to face reality now. Though I try to find the answer to all the questions they ask, though I know it's impossible to go living through the past. Don't tell no lie. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. Can't keep them down. If you listen carefully now, you will hear. That's a natural mystic flowing through the air. This could be the first trumpet, might as well be the last. Many more will have to suffer, many more will have to die. Don't ask me why. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. I won't tell no lie. If you listen carefully, now you will hear. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. Such a natural mystic flowing through the air. There's a natural mystic flowing through the air. Such a natural mystic flowing through the air. Every day and every night. This song goes in the memory of the beloved prophet Nebnabala Musa Morodinabig, the doggone priest, Maher, the truth teller, Besina Basa, which means I'll be appreciated after I'm gone. He's the man who overcome the devils with love. He's the man who speaks because he has something to say. The man of wisdom, the definition of humanity. Maheru, Maheru, Maheru. From far away, from far away, far away, from far away, West Africa, from far away, Prophet Naba, far away, La Musa, far away, Morodinabig, far away, Prophet, from far away, Prophet Naba, far away, Maher, from far away, from far away, Prophet, from far away. He's the man of wisdom. He's the man who lived by faith, and not by fear. His greatest wealth is the richness of his soul. He's the man who lived by faith and not by fear. He's the double-edged sword. He's the double-edged sword. He's the key to unlock the treachery. Follow truth and you shall find him. He's the definition of humanity. He's the beginning and the end. He's the prophet Naba. Far away, from far away, far away, from far away, West Africa, from far away, Prophet Naba, far away, La Musa, far the saying, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophet while we stand aside and look? Oh, some say it's just a part of it. We gotta fulfill the boy. Come to Maheru, come to Maheru, come to Maheru. He got your untold story. Come from far away.